Hello and welcome back to the Start to Glamping Business podcast. Today we have another Canadian glamping site owner. We have Angele Miller from Creekside RNR out in New Brunswick on the east coast of Canada. Angele, welcome to the show. Please give us a bit of an overview of your glamping site.
Yes, thank you so much. And thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure and exciting for me to talk about our resort, Creekside RNR. So Creekside RNR is located in New Brunswick here in Atlantic Canada, in the southeastern part of the province, in a very nice touristic area that has a lot of nice beaches, a lot of good seafood. So if ever you want to visit to Atlantic Canada, then you also know where to come. Creekside is a resort that's located on a river that connects to the ocean. It's about 22 acres that, surrounds our beautiful resort. And we do have a lot of deers that play on the river all the time. We have over 45 apple trees on site. Our resort has geodesic domes to really have a really nice, resort-like luxury but nature experience. And we also have mirror cabins, Nordic spa, a Zen center if you like to meditate, do yoga in nature, a lot of really fun activities as well. So we are kind of like a full service, complete resort that have all the amenities, a lot of fun stuff, and also a lot of food, local food culture kind of options.
Yeah, and that part of the world, the east coast of Canada, it really comes highly recommended from many people that I know who either live there or have visited there. I think it's a bit of a hidden gem, really. So I recommend everyone does a bit of Googling because there's some really nice spots there and maybe it's worth a visit. And Angele, I don't know whether you can give a discount to podcast listeners if they come and stay, but maybe they can try their luck. So you've got this beautiful little site. Well, not little really, but you've got a beautiful site. How did this all come about? Kind of what's your background and how did you get into it?
Yeah, so me and my husband, we love traveling. We've traveled a little bit, all over Canada, but also all over the world. And we love having, amazing experience. And we're the kind of people that love nature and hiking and doing fun outdoor activities. And for us, Creekside, it came about too because it's literally in the backyard from where I grew up. It's land and a place that's very special to us, to my heart. And we always love hanging out there, for either it's hiking or walking in the woods there. It's just so beautiful. It's so peaceful. There's so many different bird species and all that. And one day that idea just came to us, what a great way to come here and enjoy. It has a special place, but imagine having these domes that we could have for people to come and enjoy this nice place. So that's where the idea came for us. But we had no experience in tourism. It's not like we had a strong background. I mean, we're entrepreneurs at heart, but we had no background when it came to tourism industry. So for us, when we had that idea, at the time, there was no domes around in our province or locally. And so we went to visit the tourist sector of our region just to ask what they thought about our idea. And they were really excited about it because, as I share, we're in a very touristic area. With lots of nice beaches and lots of, fresh lobster, oysters, everything's kind of around here, but there's not a lot of accommodation. So we decided to undertake the project, in full heart in 2019. And in 2020, October, in the midst of COVID, we opened the doors to Creekside.
Now, you mentioned being in the midst of COVID. What was going on there? Like, were you able to take guests, or was it total freak out?
Yeah, you know what? It's a very it's something that happened to us unexpectedly. Like COVID happened unexpectedly, but for us in March of 2020, when the domes finally arrived here in the transport, the announcement came at the same time about the COVID, and literally the tourist industry was coming to a stop where nobody's traveling anywhere anymore, and we don't know when it's and how it's going to happen, for how long. But for us, we just followed our gut. We had already invested a lot, already undertaking the zoning, the construction of the road, and we just decided to take a chance and still push and go for it. It was challenging to get supplies, challenging to get all the tools we needed for the construction to make it happen, including the hot tubs, because we wanted hot tubs in all units. But imagine trying to get hot tubs in COVID. It was sold out everywhere. You couldn't get any hot tub. But we really had to push hard. And for us, I think it's what's driving us to even push harder in making people aware we were there, and also do marketing and social media and letting people know, because we thought, like, people are at home, they haven't left home for a while, they cancel all their international travel, they probably want to get out of their house. And what a better way to come at our resort, because you have these domes right in nature. You're not coming in contact with anyone. It's not in a hotel where you have elevators and you have a lot of people around you. And it was the best thing we could have ever done. From the day we've opened, we've been at full capacity.
Okay, so you obviously, you had an interesting setup journey, having to, do it as going into a real period of uncertainty, and it looks like you came out the other side even stronger. But in terms of that actual setup journey, with no background in tourism, did you know what you were kind of getting yourself in for? Did you have to go through a lengthy permitting process? How was that kind of journey for you?
Yeah, it's when it comes to zoning and permitting, there's always a lot of work to do around that. But for us, depending on the region, like, I know for New Brunswick at the time when we opened, we had to get a zoning done, but we had to get a multi-purpose zoning. So we were able to approve that because we're in a small community, like in a municipality. So it's not like a big city where there may be a lot more zoning limitations. So for us, that was good. But when it came to architecture approval on the domes, we worked with a 5-star manufacturer directly. So we knew we got all the design to meet the architecture. But we didn't need to get it stamped. They just wanted to make sure we had that. But I know now, today, if you're opening a dome resort in New Brunswick for per se province, there is more rules around that. Now you do need to get approval stamps by engineers and all that to get it done. So which is kind of good, because I think since COVID for us in our region, the dome, after we opened, there was 2 other dome resorts throughout the province, but now there's probably over 50. It totally exploded the type of segment we're in, but a lot of people were not really doing well because of the regulatory at the time. So the quality wasn't there, and there's a lot of, which kind of gives a bad reputation to other glamping entrepreneurs. But it's nice to see that now there's more, a lot more strict regulatory around all that. But for us, our product does meet all regulatory. Yeah.
So you mentioned there, that's actually the first time really we've talked much about kind of maybe saturation on this podcast, in terms of, you started off, you were one of the first, or if not the first dome operator in the province. Now there's 50. In the US and Canada, we've not really discussed saturation and potential kind of oversupply much, just because it's not really an issue at the minute, across the continent. Whereas in the UK, that may be something that we'll be talking about a lot more, just because the industry is a bit more mature over there. Have you found your business has been impacted by all these new dome sites sprouting up near you, or have you been able to kind of maintain your client base?
Yeah, it's a good question. For us, like, I think, it's normal for people that, if you love glamping, you'll want to try different resorts of glamping in different regions, which is a good thing. It keeps the glamping industry at its peak. But for us, we've been able to maintain a lot of repeat guests, which is really nice. We have some guests that will come 10 times a year at our resort. And so, we work really hard on excelling customer service. But as a resort, you always have to keep your innovation up and your customer service to retain your customer base. And we've worked really hard to kind of lead with that and establish a lot of details and a lot of things in glamping that a lot of new glamping resorts are following. So we're very proud of that, because we do custom food local farm custom food package deliveries. We do oyster chucking private service in your dome. We do a lot of things that make it that people love and they have fun and they have a great experience. So I think if, like, as a glamping resort, to kind of always keep innovating and always keep really offering those unique experience, because glamping really does attract people that want those unique experience. So as long you kind of really stay on top of that, I think gaining the customer traction is going to be at its peak. And for us, we've maintained a 5-star rating, and we're the highest rated glamping resort in our province today. But we had to work hard for that, and we keep working hard every day, to
Yeah.
maintain that.
I think that's really important to emphasize, because glamping is more than just staying in a dome in a field. It's about creating experiential travel
Hmm.
memories for people. That's where the kind of real magic lies. That we quite often talk about two different models of glamping on this podcast. One being the very labor light, hands off. You just turn up, remote check in, and just get on with your vacation. Then there's the other side, which is lots of touch points with the staff on site, very kind of high touch hospitality, and there's obviously a lot of space in between. But which kind of category would you say you fall towards, and how does that work for you so far?
Yeah, so for us, you mean like in terms of experiential travel versus like just.
In terms of, do you see your guests on site
Yes,
quite a lot? Do you and your staff kind of talk to them a
yes.
lot, or is it very much hands off?
Yes, no, thank you. That's a good question. I mean, yeah, for us, we do. It depends on the type of guest too. We do have some guests that they love that we have a contactless check-in, and they can just go straight to their dome and they want to completely disconnect and relax and not really want to see anyone, which is kind of good. We have some of those guests, but we also have a lot of guests that love to connect and learn about the region and learn about what there's to do, the culture, what we recommend. They just kind of want that connection. But we always have people on site that's going to be there to meet, those type of customers. But being that in glamping, we found that it goes from one extreme to the other. And it's really 50-50. We do have a lot of those guests that when they come, they do just want to be in nature. They want to relax. They want to disconnect and completely from everything, from seeing a lot of people maybe at their work. They're in nature because they just want to disconnect and do their own thing, which is great. So we will accommodate, both type of guests, and always make sure there's people on site that we connect with those customers.
Yeah, for those that do like to meet the staff, whereabouts do most of the conversations, and where does that magic happen? Is it in the kind of checking building, or is it just around the
Outside,
site?
outside on site. As as we see guests like walking outside on site, a lot of time we'll just come out and talk with them. We're always outside on site ourselves, being that we're owners. I mean, in a glamping resort, always have a lot of maintenance and work to maintaining it nice. So we're always either doing landscaping, carrying wood, moving things around, like going at the fire pit, making sure everything's fine. So we're always around, and that's how we also bump into guests all the time. And we talk with them. Most of it is outside. Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And moving on to the units, obviously you have the geodesic domes. Everyone knows about domes. They've been
Hmm.
popular for a while and they remain popular. And they're very much, I would kind of say that they're really the flagship glamping unit in North America, certainly.
Hmm.
You also have some mirror cabins. They are kind of newer on the market, and they're building up a lot of popularity. I remember at the glamping show in Colorado last October. I know there was a big kind of crowd around it, and everyone seemed to love it. How have your mirror cabins gone off since you added them to the site?
Yeah, the mirror cabins have been really good, and a lot of people that book that will keep rebooking the mirror cabin because it's such a unique experience. We've won an award with Tourist New Brunswick last year for innovation on the mirror cabin. And the mirror cabin for us, when we integrated that on site, the idea was that we want to create a nature immersive experience. Meaning, when you look at the cabin, you don't even see it. You only see the trees and the nature around. So it really gives you a full, more nature experience. So they're really fun and they provide a really cool experience. So for people that love unique accommodation or travel and want the unique glamping experience, the mirror cabin definitely does that. For us, our mirror cabins, what we also did is we added a stargazing dome outside of each to really bring the best of both worlds. So you can have the mirror cabin experience, but then you also have the cool dome outside with a fancy day bed so you can lay down and look at stars at night. So you still have that kind of experience. But it's been a really good thing for us. We're really happy that we added those on site.
You have plenty of activities and experiences. Like I'm just reading here, you have picnics, romantic packages, a mystery box, whatever that is. And, some of it's free on the website. Some of it is kind of an upsell, and which I'm sure adds to the bottom line. Could you just run us through a list of what experiences you offer and how they've impacted your business?
Yes, for sure. And also just to kind of mention quickly, we're also opening up a new accommodation in a month, and it's a big lobster fishing boat. We got on site and we're turning it into a high-end luxury accommodation. And so that's going to be a super cool, unique experience. And that's coming soon as well. And all of the different types of experience that we have on site. So we do have fat bikes. We have canoe, kayaks, paddle boards to go on the creek that goes to the ocean. The picnics, we wanted to create something fun by the creek so you can get this experience. We set it up all fancy, like you're in a fancy restaurant. And you're sitting down, just enjoying local food, charcuterie boards, with local smoked salmon and different things like that. And you have champagne on ice, and it's put in a nice setting. And we also give a lot of information about all the local birds, so you can listen and try to see and learn all about the region. So it's kind of a cool experience we created. We also have all the local food option packages that we do deliver, from pizza kits to go on the charcoal grill outside to farm breakfast box, steaks, everything. And we also have a Nordic spa where you can also book and go enjoy a full Nordic experience in nature with the cold tubs, the hot tubs, the saunas, and all of that. And we also have a building in nature that's for yoga and meditation. So we really try to offer a lot of different experience. And the mystery box, for all of you that kind of wonder what that is, I don't know if you've ever heard about escape rooms. Most cities and locations now have escape rooms where you go in and you're locked into a room and you have to figure out by the clues you see on the walls and everywhere how to get out. Well, this is a box we bring right to your unit. And it's literally an escape room in a box. So you have to in 1 hour figure out how to open and every compartment and things. So it's a really fun experience. And especially if it's a rainy day, people love that. So that's something we wanted to offer to just kind of make it even more fun while they're having an experience with us.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that's clearly the first time I've ever heard of anyone doing that. So that's so cool. Have those kind of the upsells that you do charge extra for, have they had much of an impact on the bottom line of the business?
Yes, all the upsells do add quite a bit. Most guests that come with us will buy most of all their food with us and book the Nordic spa. I would say a 2-to-1 ratio for the Nordic spa. And in the summer, the canoe and kayak is always completely gone. So it does bring a lot of additional revenue stream for us. And it also makes it that it brings a lot of return guests because they're having an incredible experience and they really get to experience the local culture, the food and everything we offer. So we want to keep building on that. Our goal is to keep building because it is having a positive impact in many ways.
Yeah, and I want to emphasize that local culture kind of thing as well, because we talk about experiential travel, we talk about upsells, and I think that there's a risk that people might get a bit lazy when they're saying, okay, we'll add a few. If you want to buy s'mores, you can buy a s'mores kit. If you want to buy a food hamper, you can buy a food hamper. But when you really blend the local culture in, like the lobster thing and the oysters and things like that, that really kind of is where the experiences lie, particularly for people who maybe come from abroad or come from a bit further away. They get the taste of the local area. That's kind of what glamping's about as well, is giving authentic experiences rather than just sticking a dome in a field. So I think that's important to emphasize as well, because it really does add to that experience and kind of goes to the core of what glamping is about. You mentioned that the Nordic spa, it's a full building. It looks amazing. Is that open to the public or is it just for paying guests?
Yeah, we are open to the public as well. And so we have a lot of people from the community or surrounding areas to here that will come. We have a lot of companies too that will even book the Nordic spa for their other staff to come on a day and really enjoy and de-stress. And what we found for us is we're not a full commercialized, like in a big city type of Nordic spa that will accept hundreds of people. We really limit the amount of people we accept. If it's a private group, we will accept up to 15 people. But if it's not a private group, usually we have 6 people at a time. So it keeps it really nice, intimate experience. And in nature, so not only you have that Nordic experience, but you can listen to the birds, breathe fresh air, have no sound, you're completely in nature. So all of that contributes to your well-being and de-stressing and really relaxing. So we're really trying to bring that full experience that, we know people are craving and looking for. As today we're all busy and running, busy, more stressful lives in many ways. I think it's important to take time for yourself and come in nature, either for a little holiday, but if you can add this spa to it, it's just an extra plus.
Are there any other areas of the site that are open to the public as well?
No, that's pretty much that. Yeah,
okay.
the Nordic
Yeah,
spa.
and and limiting the numbers, you find,
Correct.
presumably it helps preserve the privacy and seclusion of the glampers.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we spoke about this a little bit with Josh and Josh Turner and Jane Rushbridge from Blackstrap Glamping Resort in Saskatchewan. They've obviously experienced pretty brutal winters, kind of in the Midwest of Canada. The East Coast isn't far off kind of those temperatures as well, and you obviously get a lot of snow. So I'm interested in knowing how you winterized the glamping site, and how it impacts guest behavior, how they enjoy the site in the winter, and just generally, what it's like running a winter glamping business in those kind of temperatures and weathers.
Yes, no, that's a good question. And it was such a pleasure to meet Josh and them also from Blackstrap. They came to Creekside, and we've kind of worked with them a little bit as well, up to the opening of their resort. But for us, it's really important because in the glamping industry, especially with geodesic domes, it's a tent, and there's only so many layers of protection between outside of -40 to inside, but also to control humidity level, condensation is a big issue for most dome glamping owners resort. And we do see, and we get a lot of calls actually from people asking us how we were able to control that. For us, it was trial and error when we first started, but we've really pinned it down. We know the humidity levels into the unit. And also we didn't go with the big skylight on top, which we don't recommend if you're in an area that gets really cold like us, because it will condensate and drip water nonstop. And a lot of guests will call and ask if it's leaking, but for us, with our unit, we've not only had the insulation custom designed to go on the inside, but we've also spray foamed all our domes to make sure that they were very well insulated and intact, and stop the condensation and not have condensation drip through the walls of the unit. So we've been able to do that, and it's great. And we've also built our own whole gutter system inside by the window to make sure we don't have issues with that. But it is definitely something that needs to work with. Our guest experience is still great because for us, we have a wood pellet stove, we have a mini split for heat and electric heat. So we have 3 forms of heating system. So even in -40 for us, we'll keep the inside around like a 22-degree temperature. But if your dome is not well insulated, I could see where the experience may not be the same. We do have guests that called that went to other glamping resort where they said, they had it completely froze, and they were so cold, and they wanted to know if we had, what kind of heat we had, because their experience previously was not as positive. So, and people will ask, some people are, glamping is something that's kind of new for a lot of people. It's been something that started in, maybe the last 3 years to be more aware, where a lot of people started to learn, and glamping became what it is today. But a lot of people think that it's only open in the summer. They don't realize that for us in Canada in -40, we'd be open in a tent in the winter. So we have a lot of education. Like a lot of guests will call, we're like, yeah, we're all season, we're open all year round, every day of the year, we don't close. But that is also because we have the proper setup inside. We have really nice wood pellet stove that will have really high heat capacity, and we do have the insulation on top of the spray foam and all these things. But it's something to really look for, because in the winter, if you don't have those type of heating source, it can be more chilly. So you would have to dress warm, you know? So some people like winter camping, and that could be something that, but if you're going glamping because you want to be in a resort like, and have those resort like amenities, then it may not be the same feeling that you would have at that type of resort, you know?
And how about the snow? Does that impact much? Do you have to have lots of regular snow plows and things like that? Do guests get stuck? What kind of problems does the snow present?
Yeah, we haven't had any situation like that, but I mean, for us, like, we're lucky, in New Brunswick, I would say in the last 3 years, we didn't really have big winters, like a lot of snow. It's not typical. Usually we would have a lot of snow here. So much snow that you would go to the top of your door. But for now, for us here, it's been good. So it's been good for us with that. But we do have a contracted snow plow company that comes on site as soon as there's snow first thing in the morning, 5, 6 in the morning, before people even get up, they're already out and clear the roads. So we have a service we pay for that ensure complete, clean up for our guests. But in terms of going around the hot tub and the barbecue outside and things on the deck, we do have a maintenance person on site that goes around and snowplow with a snowblower and make sure that it's all clear. But usually we've been able to maintain, so we've never had an issue. So far, with guests being stuck or not able to get up. And a lot of time it's fun because being in a dome when it's snowing or a storm, it's kind of like you're in a snow globe. You feel like you're in a snow globe. And we have a lot of people that are on cancellation lists with us. So then when there's a snowstorm, they're like, let us know if somebody cancels. We want to be there because it's the exciting thing. It's like you're in a snow globe, right? So it's a really cool experience anyway. And in the winter, it's so much fun and it's so cozy to relax by the wood pellet stove and enjoy a hot chocolate or a hot apple cider. And if people love the outdoor, like, I mean, Canada, you have to love going outdoor in the winter. Like, you have to go either snowshoeing or cross country skiing or skating. So and it's fun to kind of do a getaway in the winter and do the winter fun experience. And we have built snowshoeing trails also to try to help guests really have that winter experience.
Yeah, I think we should emphasize that as well, because what you've said there is you adapt the offering for the season. So, you emphasize the hot chocolate when it's cold,
Yes.
and I'm sure you emphasize other stuff when it's warm. So I think, I do see a few operators that have a tendency to just kind of put pictures up of the glamping site when it's in the summer and what's available in the summer when the sun's out and everything's perfect as you like it with a glamping site. But ultimately, quite often it's grey, quite often it's cold and snowy. So you need to be able to adapt to those things. And as you said there, you've turned it into an advantage by creating this cozy snow globe kind of experience, and the marketing writes itself there. You don't even have to sell it. You've got people literally calling asking to stay. So I think that's a perfect example of how you can turn what might be an adverse situation into your advantage. So we asked this question to everyone to finish off the podcast, any operator. Angele, are you happy with your decision to start a glamping business?
Yeah, of course. We're really happy and we feel really blessed and excited that we did that. And we know we love the glamping industry. And we're also like, franchising and opening up resorts all over, so hopefully we'll have some in the western part of Canada as well. But we're also opening other resorts in the United States and in many regions, as well as Costa Rica in the next year. So we're very excited, very fortunate. And, for all people that want to start a glamping industry, you have any questions, you can always reach out to us. But for all those happy glampers that just love glamping, hopefully we'll see you in New Brunswick, Atlantic Canada here.
Yeah, and for those who want to get the snowshoes on and go and
Yeah.
stay, then the link will be in the description of this episode. But for those who do want to get in touch, maybe about those franchise opportunities, how can they do that?
Yeah, they can reach out to us. They can go on social media and search us, Creekside RNR Glamping, or they can go directly on our website at www.creeksidernr.com and send us an email or send us a message, and we'll be more than happy to connect with you.
Angele, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.